Hyliion stock. Is it all starting to come together for this company? As we are well aware, this company has been absolutely hammered over the last 12 to 18 months or so from ridiculously record highs. But as we've seen in the recent earnings call and news announced that things are just starting, the snowball is just starting to get moving and the momentum is building in this company. Orders are being confirmed, they're being backed by deposits, they're being converted into deposit backed orders. They're starting to get right out there in terms of getting the truck out there for fleets to see and for politicians to see, all things that are going to generate momentum going forward for this company to convert its goals into actual reality. We know this company is a powertrain only company, so the idea is that they're going to get fleets to have and use their heavy influence on OEM manufacturers just like Peterbilt to get this powertrain fitted in all the trucks that are going out to certain fleets out there. Now, the more this happens and the more that Hyliion can demonstrate just how good this product actually is in the hands of the fleets, then the more pressure these fleets will come under, the manufacturer, the OEMs will come under to start almost fitting this powertrain as standard rather than a diesel engine or full electric. Now, for the moment, diesel has its place in the market, of course it does, so does full electric. I'm not advocating against a full BEV truck or even a hydrogen truck, but talking about it's a long way from reality. There is no infrastructure for hydrogen and there is very little infrastructure for electric either, apart from what certain users are building themselves. So the likes of Pepsi are fitting chargers at their own factories and at their own facilities to charge the trucks that they are getting, and then the trucks are going to go out and return to Pepsi every day. And that's fine if you only have 200 miles or 300 miles of range, but these trucks then take an awful long time to charge. Hyliion is going a completely different way of doing this, and it is going to essentially give trucks 1,000 miles of range on the road, which is an absolute step change in what's going on there, and all done with low or even carbon negative emissions. That's absolutely fantastic. Let's get in there, let's review exactly why this stock is doing well, and I believe that it is just starting to turn a corner. Hey guys, welcome to the Hyliion Holdings landing page. So if you invested over the last month or so and you jumped in at $3.50 a share, well done to you, because you've scored yourself a pretty decent return so far. However, over the longer term, over the 6 months and going on previous to that, we know that it's been a pretty much bloodbath for this company. Market cap sitting at 760 million for the moment, but the company is still sat on an awful lot of cash and is starting to enact its plan to commercialise the Hypertruck ERX, and that is what it's all about. The hybrid is going to provide some revenue and provide some intellectual property for the company in terms of how it does its business, but it make no doubt about it, it's all about the Hypertruck ERX, and this is what Thomas Healy is looking for in this article here on Yahoo Finance. It is to be the dominant electric powertrain for the trucking industry. Never mind your hydrogen, which is miles off down the line, never mind your full battery electric vehicles, which are going to have only 300 to 400 miles of range and have to be plugged in for hours and hours and hours after that. This truck, this powertrain that Hyliion is providing, will give 1,000 miles of range, able to do electric when it needs to, and then for the rest of the time it just cruises along in the most low carbon way possible. This is exactly what this article is all about here, so do get involved and have a look at that. It can do 75 miles of all electric driving if needed to meet the restrictions in California, for example, or going into a city. But then you can link it up to an RNG filling station or CNG filling station and have it go and provide battery all the time. So in one of the videos that I've seen Thomas Healy talk about, is he talks about how the battery will stay 50 to 60% fully charged, and that's how the battery will remain all the time. As soon as it goes down to that area, the generator, the natural gas generator in the back of the truck, kicks on to charge the battery, and then it carries on being electric. But you will hardly notice that because the truck is so quiet, which is absolutely fascinating. It is such a smart way of doing things, and it's going to really help going forward. So yes, the truck will be more expensive in the first place, but with the rates of how much diesel is costing at the moment, and there are no signs that this is going to come back down anytime soon, it's actually getting more and more logical to have a natural gas truck, which prices have not jumped up as much, and have an electric vehicle. This is starting to really come on stream now, and you can just see that big snowball of momentum starting up and starting to affect Hyliion quite nicely. So the YouTube channel Benzinga has recently, with 150,000 subscribers I might add, recently took a trip to Hyliion's headquarters and compared the diesel truck to the Hypertruck, had a walk around with the truck, and interviewed the CEO Thomas Hyliion. And a shout out to JMac Investing as well, he did that, and based on that I really do have a lot of faith in this company. It is going to be absolutely revolutionary. Do hop onto these channels and have a look. I'm UK based, so the chance of me getting to Hyliion headquarters are low, and it would cost me an absolute fortune. But these guys based out in the States, they've been there, they've seen the difference, between diesel and the Hypertruck, and it's absolutely fascinating to see their faces while driving this truck. And anybody can do it as well, because it's so easy to drive. There's no ridiculous 18 gear shifting and all that jargon that goes with usual truck driving, and the loudness of it as well. Moving on to another reason why the momentum is starting to build is Moan Transport converted its previous Hypertruck order. It exercised its right to essentially have a 20 unit order right there, which is absolutely excellent. It reserved 40 units and it's now backed 20 of those with deposits, thanks to the ride and drive experience that we just saw the essentially the YouTuber Benzinga channel getting a taste of that. Fleets are getting a taste of that, and they are very impressed with what they see, and this hopefully will eventually spread just like wildfire across the trucking industry as it begins to revolutionise things. Innovation Council member also ordered 50 Hypertruck units as well. It had an initial unit of initial order of 20 Hybrid ERX units, so they obviously liked what they had there, and they've decided to up this to a 50 truck initial Hypertruck ERX order, and that could then eventually kick on to a lot higher than that. So they're trying to secure the initial building slots for the ERX, so they're the first adopter, the early adopter, and they can be the market leader in reducing their carbon footprint. And this is really good publicity, environmental publicity for the company, the Green Path Logistics, and it gives them a bit of a competitive advantage as well, which is absolutely great to see. And then that ultimately will reward Hyliion, and then will reward us investors as well. And just a brief oversight of the last earnings call. They've had over 100 units now backed by deposits to secure Hypertruck ERX production slots as soon as they become available. They're getting multiple fleets to experience the ERX ride and drive events. They've had 325 additional reservations for future production slots, and 5 fleets operating nearly 500 trucks. So if that starts to come online, that achieve that sort of goal, then there is a lot more orders that could potentially follow that. And these aren't initially Innovation Council members, so that's going to be in addition to what the Innovation Council members can bring to the party as well. As we can see, there's progress being made. They've made some strong performance, and as that is exactly what you want to see as an investor. It is an early stage company, but progress is going to be slow and steady, of course, but they are actually making progress. There's a lot of ticks to come off, and as an investor you're going to be watching this going forward and make sure green ticks appear in all these boxes and it doesn't slip any further. But it absolutely, to me, looks like this is what's coming down the line, and they are achieving their goals. They got kicked out a bit longer due to the supply chain crisis and other hiccups in bringing the business to market. This does sort of happen, of course it does, which is the reason why the share price has declined as much as it has, because investors wanted their money to grow and grow now, and that obviously hasn't happened. There are numerous other developments for the Hybrid EX as well. Obviously they do face competition in this market because it is an additional bolt-on thing, whereas the Hypertruck ERX is going to be the full fat party truck. Basically, this is an additional thing. It is a fantastic product, but there is competition out there for it. But it is good to see that they are still fulfilling orders and generating a little bit of revenue from this. They obviously brought on Meritor's Jay Craig onto the team, and that is going to help later on down the line bring and develop some partnerships. And then we have the agnostic solution, where eventually they're going to go from the CNG RNG solution to hydrogen. That is really a good acknowledgement of the future by Hyliion. They are open to hydrogen in the future, but they just know for now the infrastructure just really isn't there, and it actually can be more carbon intensive and really expensive to get a hydrogen fuel cell going at the moment. And coincidentally, the electric side of things, the infrastructure is not there as well. And then we can just quickly see the last few financial hits here from the 2022 outlook and for the year 2021. They recorded a small bit of revenue in Q4. They're still sat on an awful lot of money to be able to commercialise the Hypertruck ERX, and that is essentially all that you can want from this company. Progress is made, they're starting to build momentum, they still have the money to further build this momentum and sell the truck and commercialise the truck, and eventually that revenue is going to peak up and start going. Make no doubt about it, when that revenue does start to peak up and people start to actually switch on that this truck is as revolutionary as Thomas Healy says it is, people will come flooding back to this stock in their droves. If Nikola can do it with all the issues that they've had, I know they're producing actual full-blown trucks and they're not reliant on OEMs to introduce that, but that comes with its own expenses. But if with their fraud-ridden CEO can still return almost double from where the bottom of their share price was, then this company that is doing exactly what it says on the tin without the controversy can easily do that as well. It's just going to take a little bit more patience, generating a little bit more momentum, and people will come back. Investors will flood back to this company in droves once they realise that it's actually happening and the time is now. For anybody else that's already in, just continue to build your position, continue to hold what you've got. If you've made a little bit of a loss, fine, so be it. If you can afford to sit on that for a while, be patient. If you've got the bottle, average down. I'm still averaging down some of my positions due to the stock market crash, but especially on this one. I was down 50% at one stage and I'm still bringing that average down over time. I'm not fussed about that. I have a lot of faith in this company, and I would suggest that the community that is being built around it does have that faith too. I am genuinely confident in this company, guys. Every time I see people moan about it, it sort of bounces off me, because I'm very confident in what I've seen and the research that I've done and exactly how this company is going to build itself going forward. Yes, am I going to have to sit on it for quite a while? Probably, but you don't build a business, a multi-billion dollar business overnight. Look how long it took for Tesla to garner the momentum that it's got, and now it's revolutionising absolutely everything. On that note, the Tesla Semi that people build to be absolutely revolutionary and is going to be the be-all and end-all for the trucking industry still hasn't materialised. Yes, there's a few knocking round and a few have now gone out to Pepsi, I think that it is, but are they at mass production? No. That can keeps getting, even the likes of Tesla, they are still kicking the can down the road on that truck, essentially, leaving potential customers just waiting in the wings. Other companies are starting to bring battery electric vehicles to the market, but again, where is the infrastructure for that? Where are the charging posts at service stations where truckers are going to stop when they're doing long haul travel? That still does not exist. They might be able to run out from their factory, do whatever, and do the last inner city or local deliveries that only require 50-60 miles each way, etc. to do that. That's absolutely fine. Then charge the truck overnight. Wonderful. That will bring down the footprint in cities. But what about the trucks that are transporting goods cross country or cross state that require hundreds and hundreds, if not 500 miles plus 1,000 miles of range, and then able to charge very quickly overnight and get back out on the road? Like literally the job only gets halfway done in a day's worth of driving. This is where Hyliion comes in. This is the low carbon answer, because at the moment I see no other solution on the US market whatsoever that can do exactly what Hyliion's offering. The only choice at the moment is still a diesel truck, and that is going to cost a lot in fuel at the moment, and it's still going to do the same CO2 emissions and do the damage to the environment that trucking has been doing for decades. It is time to do something about it. Fleets are engaged with it. You can see that when they come for these ride-alongs with Hyliion. So let's get involved, back the company, hold your shares, consolidate and build your positions, because this one is going to take off and take off massively. Thank you very much for watching today's video, guys. If you're as confident in Hyliion as I am, do please smash that like button on your way out and consider subscribing to the channel for more Hyliion and other investing related videos. Catch you later.